If you want these horror stories to continue, please subscribe now. And don't forget to like. The street was never supposed to be this quiet. Streetlights flickered above empty sidewalks, their pale glow stretching long shadows across cracked asphalt. He checked his phone. No signal, no notifications, no missed calls, just silence. It was past midnight, yet the city felt abandoned, as if everyone had vanished at once. His footsteps echoed too loudly, making him slow down, listening. Somewhere far behind him, another set of footsteps matched his pace, then stopped. When he stopped, he turned around. Nothing. Only parked cars and dark apartment windows staring back like hollow eyes. He told himself it was paranoia. Long day, tired mind. Still, his chest felt tight as he walked on. A cold breeze slid down the street, carrying a strange sound, a soft scrape, like something being dragged. He quickened his pace. The sound followed. Not close, not far, always there. A bus stop appeared ahead, its glass panels cracked and covered with old posters. He stepped under its weak light, hoping to feel safer. That's when he noticed something carved into the metal bench. "Don't turn around." His heart pounded. Fresh scratches, not old. Someone had written this recently. The street light above him buzzed, then went dark. The scrape behind him grew louder. He started running. The street seemed longer than before, stretching unnaturally. Buildings leaned inward, blocking the sky. His breath burned in his lungs. As he passed a narrow alley, he caught a glimpse of movement. Too tall, too thin, standing perfectly still. He didn't stop. He didn't look again. He just ran, praying for another person, a car, anything. He slowed near an intersection, exhausted. That's when he heard whispering, not from one direction, from everywhere. The voices were low, overlapping, repeating his thoughts before he could think them. His name slipped from unseen mouths. Panic took over. He realized something terrifying. The street knew him. It wasn't empty. It was watching. A figure stepped into the light ahead. Its back was turned, shoulders hunched, head tilted at an impossible angle. Relief flooded him. Another person. "Hey!" he called. The figure didn't move. Slowly, it raised one arm and pointed down the street the way he had come. The whispering stopped. The silence that followed was worse. Against every instinct, he took a step closer. The streetlight revealed the truth. No face, just smooth, pale skin where eyes and a mouth should be. The figure began to walk backward, never turning around, moving faster than he could follow. Each step it took, the street behind it disappeared into darkness. He realized the street was closing in, shrinking, trapping him in a narrowing corridor of light. His phone vibrated suddenly. One message, no sender. "You were never meant to leave." The scrape returned, now right behind him. Hot breath touched his neck. He ran toward the last remaining light, screaming for help that would never come. Shadows reached across the ground, wrapping around his legs, pulling him down. The streetlights shut off one by one. In the darkness, countless footsteps surrounded him, circling, waiting. The next morning, the city was back to normal. People walked the streets, cars passed by, and the sun hung high in the sky. But Ethan knew the truth. Nothing was normal anymore. He couldn't shake the image of the dark figure standing at the end of the street, its face still hidden. He thought it was just a figment of his mind, but deep down, he knew it was real. Ethan tried to go back to his daily routine, work, home, dinner, but the streets never felt the same. Every corner, every shadow seemed to hold a hidden presence, a threat lurking just beyond the light. When he stepped out at night, the city felt smaller, like the buildings were closing in on him, trapping him. One evening, while walking home, he heard the tapping again, the same rhythmic pattern he heard that first night. It came from above, just above his head. He froze. The footsteps grew louder, closer. The familiar sound of someone or something was following him. He ran. This time, he couldn't pretend it was just in his head. He turned corners, sprinted down alleys, trying to lose whatever was behind him. But every time he looked back, the shadows seemed to shift, taking the shape of someone following him, always a step behind. He reached the park. It was empty, the streetlights dim and flickering. Ethan stopped to catch his breath, but the air felt heavier now, pressing down on him. He glanced around, and in the distance, he saw a figure standing still just beyond the park's gates, a tall silhouette with no clear features. It wasn't just standing there. It was watching him. Ethan could feel it. He tried to turn and run, but his legs wouldn't move. Something held him in place. As the figure moved closer, he realized it wasn't walking. It was gliding, floating just above the ground. His breath caught in his throat. The figure didn't have a face, but he could feel its eyes. Cold, empty eyes that seemed to pierce right through him. As it stepped into the light, Ethan saw that it wasn't human. It had elongated limbs, its skin dark and smooth like oil, and its movements were unnaturally smooth. Ethan couldn't move. The figure reached out with a long, bony hand, and Ethan felt a chill run through his body. It spoke without words, its voice like whispers in the wind. "You shouldn't have looked back," it said. "Now you belong here." Before Ethan could react, the figure stepped forward, and the world around him shifted. The park, the streets, the city, everything blurred into darkness. He was no longer standing on solid ground. Instead, he was floating in an empty void, surrounded by nothing but shadows. Suddenly, Ethan was back on the street, standing under a streetlight. But everything was different. The buildings were taller, the air thicker, and the shadows seemed to reach out for him. He tried to run, but every direction he turned, the street led him back to the same place. That's when he saw it, the street sign. It read. He couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. And standing at the end of the street was the same figure, its eyes glowing in the dark. This time, it wasn't just watching him. It was waiting for him to come forward. And this time, there was no escape. Ethan stood frozen in place, unable to move or scream. The figure, still without a face, stepped closer. The streets, the city, everything felt wrong. The air was thick, suffocating. His legs buckled, and he fell to his knees. The figure whispered again, its voice colder than ice, "You never left." Suddenly, everything went black. No sounds, no light, no breath, just silence. When Ethan opened his eyes, the street was empty again. The figure was gone. The city looked normal. But when he looked at the reflection in the puddle beside him, his own eyes, empty, hollow, and dark, stared back, and the street, once again, whispered in the wind, "You're one of them now." The end.